For every 3 working satellites currently orbiting the Earth, 2 of them belong to one American company. As of April 2026, SpaceX's Starlink constellation consists of over 10,300 active satellites, roughly 65 to 67% of every operational satellite in orbit. The next largest constellation is Europe's OneWeb with just 650. SpaceX has regulatory approval for 15,000 and has filed plans for up to 42,000. One private company owned by one individual controls 2/3 of all functioning satellite infrastructure above the planet, and European governments, including their defense ministries, intelligence agencies, and emergency response services, depend on that infrastructure for critical communications. The EU has decided that dependency is no longer acceptable, and they're building their own. I'm Elle, I have a PhD in computer science, and I use data analysis to spot patterns in geopolitics and economics. And with a background in computer science, this story sits right at the intersection of everything I track. The EU's answer to Starlink is called IRIS², Infrastructure for Resilience, Interconnectivity, and Security by Satellite. It is a planned multi-orbit constellation of 290 satellites across low Earth and medium Earth orbits, designed to provide encrypted sovereign communications for European governments, militaries, emergency services, and eventually broadband connectivity for citizens and businesses across the continent. In December 2024, the European Commission awarded a 12-year concession contract worth 10.5 billion euros to the SpaceRISE consortium, made up of 3 European satellite operators: France's Eutelsat, Luxembourg's SES, and Spain's Hispasat, with a core industrial team of subcontractors including Airbus, Thales Alenia Space, OHB, Telespazio, Deutsche Telekom, and Orange. Government services are expected to go live by 2030, and in March of this year, Norway and Iceland became the first non-EU countries to formally join the program, signing participation agreements in Brussels with Defense and Space Commissioner Andrius Kubilius. Now, 290 satellites against Starlink's 10,300 sounds a bit absurd on the surface, and it would be if the goal were to compete commercially for consumer broadband subscribers. It is not, though. IRIS² is a minimum viable sovereign capability, a guaranteed European-owned communications backbone for government and military use that cannot be switched off, throttled, or surveilled by a foreign power or a foreign company. Kubilius himself described it as a sovereign military cloud, and that language matters because this is not a tech project, it is a defense project dressed in civilian infrastructure clothing. If you have been following this channel's playlist on European decoupling, this is the space chapter: energy, payments, cloud, manufacturing, defense, and now the satellites themselves. The reason this is happening now becomes obvious when you look at what Starlink demonstrated in Ukraine. After Russia's 2022 invasion, SpaceX provided Ukraine with thousands of terminals. Roughly 50,000 are now deployed across the country. Starlink became the backbone of Ukrainian battlefield communications, and it worked. Russia tried to jam the signal and failed, and then started using Starlink itself by obtaining terminals through intermediaries in third countries to evade Western sanctions. In February 2026, SpaceX launched a new verification system that cut off all unauthorized terminals, which severed Russia's access to Starlink and reportedly caused a significant military communications crisis that degraded the effectiveness of Russian drone strikes and coordination. Ukraine's spring 2026 battlefield advances have been partly attributed to that disruption. SpaceX cutting off Russia was, in this instance, very helpful to Europe's ally. If you're trying to understand how to see through institutional narratives and spot what the data actually reveals, my book, Awake: The Practice of Critical Thinking in an Age of Soft Lies, is available as an ebook and audiobook. Subscribers get 10% off, and you can grab the first chapter for free in the description links below. But that episode demonstrated something that European defense planners had theorized but never seen proven at this scale. A single private American company now has the operational power to determine which side in an active war has functioning communications. The mechanism works in both directions. If SpaceX can switch off Russia, it can switch off anyone. And when the person who owns that company appeared at a rally for Germany's far-right AfD party, told Germans they needed to move beyond past guilt, spend $300 million electing a US president who now threatens European allies with trade wars and NATO suspensions, and runs a car company whose vehicles just recorded the worst reliability rating in German inspection history. European governments started asking a very reasonable question. Should this one person control the communications infrastructure that European militaries and intelligence agencies depend on? An academic paper published in early 2026 in the journal Territory Politics Governance calculated that Starlink accounts for 52% of all masts currently in low Earth orbit and 75% of all masts launched into that strategic orbit since 2019. The researchers describe this dominance as orbital occupation, a new form of resource control where the first mover fills a finite physical space so comprehensively that latecomers face permanent structural disadvantages. Low Earth orbit has a practical limit on how many satellites it can safely hold before collision risks become unmanageable. Starlink is filling that space at a rate of roughly 10 new satellites per day. Every satellite SpaceX launches makes it harder for any competitor, sovereign or commercial, to find room up there. The EU Space Act, proposed back in June 2025, aims to create a single market for European space activities, streamlining regulation across member states to make it easier for European companies to operate, launch, compete, and scale. The US State Department criticized the proposal, with a senior official saying it goes in a backwards direction. The government that handed SpaceX billions in contracts and provided effectively zero regulatory friction to build a global satellite monopoly is now telling Europe that trying to build its own sovereign space capability involves too much bureaucracy. That is certainly a perspective. Norway's Trade Minister Cecile Myrseth said the agreement marks a significant step towards bringing Norway closer to the EU's work on security, resilience, and technological independence in space. Iceland's ambassador noted that participation will strengthen the security and resilience of our communications with the wider world. Switzerland has already positioned a satellite subsidiary in Spain to align with IRIS². Poland has allocated funding for 6 additional secure communication satellites as its national contribution. The UK and Ukraine have been suggested as future participants by Commissioner Kubilius, though neither has formally entered talks yet. The constellation is European by design, sovereign by intent, and deliberately expanding its membership beyond EU borders, exactly the same institutional architecture as the defense procurement pivot, the Made in Europe Act and the Europa payment system. Build European, buy European, control European. The prediction here is that IRIS² launches on schedule, with initial government services operational by 2030. It does not exactly replace Starlink for consumer broadband. That was never the goal and never will be. What it does is give European governments, militaries, and intelligence agencies a sovereign communications backbone that is owned by European companies, governed by European law, launched on European rockets, and answerable to no foreign government or private individual. The first 290 satellites are the floor, not the ceiling. Once the infrastructure exists, the constellation will continue to grow. Once the constellation grows, the dependency on Starlink for anything classified or operationally sensitive ends. And once that dependency ends, the one person who controls 2/3 of the satellites above the Earth loses the one thing that made European governments tolerate everything else: leverage. The video on your screen right now covers how a brand new Tesla just recorded the worst reliability rating of any car in Germany in a decade, while European EVs swept the top of the rankings. Same pattern, different orbit. Thank you all so much for watching. Subscribe, and I'll see you all on the next one.